quality education, if that makes sense. But I don't think that the solution to that is, well, college is bad, because I think college is really good. And I think that more people should have the opportunity to go to college, and it should just be more accessible.
Yeah. When you see Charlie say it's a scam.
Charlie didn't go to college. Charlie dropped out of community college.
All right, guys. Naima here on her home turf in LA.
I know. Which one's my camera? Is this my camera?
This is yours.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
Not
having
your
me.
usual audience, right?
No, kind of.
You're used to the Jubilee spotlight.
They're a little bit, their audience is a little bit more conservative than
Is
people.
it?
Yeah. They're kind of center-right.
Really?
I
I
would
always
say.
assumed they were left just because their videos.
No, they're kind of center-right.
I guess you're right, though, because they've been having guys like Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles.
Yeah, they had Ben Shapiro, they had Michael, they had Charlie. They had Myron on too. They've had a lot of pretty conservative people on. They had Pearl.
Wow. Was she a 1 on 25? What was that one about?
Oh my God. The one with Pearl was like, she was a male rights activist.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not shocking, though.
No, it's not for Pearl.
I'd love to see you debate Pearl.
I don't know if that would really be much of a debate. She's kind of a no?
Yeah, she just doesn't stick up for women.
No, not really. She's just a pick me.
Like,
I mean, there's not really much to.
yeah, because I know you're big on woman empowerment, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just big on like equal rights for everyone. So wherever I see someone or a group who I feel like has been disenfranchised,
That's how the feminist movement started at first,
Pretty much,
right? And
yeah.
then it kind of got crazy along the way.
I don't really think it got crazy. I think a lot of people confuse feminism with misandry. And the whole like extreme hatred of men is not real feminism. That's not what feminism is about. You know?
People definitely, certain people associated the two.
I think that associating the two is a way to belittle the feminist movement.
Yeah.
And by confusing people into believing that all feminists hate men, you're going to get more opposition to the feminist movement. But that's not what it's about.
I definitely think Red Pill played a role in that.
I think it played a big role in that. It's very funny because it's like, I'm a feminist, but it really just means having the choice to do what you want to do. I feel like there's a big push on the right to create this kind of traditional woman and what a woman should be. And I think the feminist movement is really just saying a woman should be whatever feels comfortable and right for you within the extent of the law.
Yeah, that is a Red Pill belief. The man should provide everything. Women should stay at home.
But that's boring. I would die of boredom. I mean, how many things can you crochet until eventually you just want to get a job? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be bored if I just stayed home all day.
I'd be super bored. What do you do?
Bored out of my mind.
I'd be so bored. I'm horrible at cooking. I'd be so bored. I guess you just have to have kids, but then it's like they go to school and then, what do you do? And if that's what you want to do, I say go for it. Yeah. I have no judgment towards that, but.
Is there any ideologies from the Red Pill that you agree with?
No.
None at all?
I mean, here, hit me with some. We'll see if I agree with anything.
You could date multiple women.
Well, is it okay to date multiple men?
They don't want their girls to date other men while they're dating them.
See, so if you say that you can date multiple women, but it's not okay for me to do the same thing, that's where I have the issue.
Well, that's because they put the man in the position of power.
Exactly. Well, I also think a big thing about women not being able to work is that you're financially dependent on a man in the same way that you'd be financially dependent on a parent. And I don't want to be in a situation where I can't make choices for myself. And I also think just in terms of love, like it's so much more valuable to be in a relationship with someone when you know that they're there because they love you and not because they need you to provide for them.
Yeah.
On the male equivalent of it too, I wouldn't want to be a young man in a traditional society where at a certain point I have to provide for like 5 people off a single income. I feel like it devalues both men and women and it puts this unnecessary pressure on both groups.
I can see that. A lot of them also don't believe in marriage.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
They just feel like it puts their livelihood at risk in case of a divorce. They lose half their assets, half their wealth.
Well, sign a prenup.
So you're for prenups?
I mean, if you want to, if both parties are consenting to the prenup. I also don't think a prenup has to be necessarily like, I get to keep all of the stuff I came into a relationship with and you get nothing,
Yeah.
But it could be, instead of the state deciding how we divide our assets, we're going to decide how we divide our assets if, something were to happen.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Am I going to sign a prenup? No.
The Tri-Light from Therasage is no joke. Medical grade red and near infrared light with 3 frequencies per light, deep healing, real results, and totally portable. It's legit. Photo biomodulation tech in a flexible on-body panel. This is the Tri-Light from Therasage, and it's next level red light therapy. It's got 118 high-powered polychromatic lights, each delivering 3 healing frequencies, red and near infrared, from 580 to 980 nanometers. Optimal penetration, enhanced energy, skin rejuvenation, pain relief, better performance, quicker recovery, and so much more. Therasage has been leading the game for over 25 years, and this panel is FDA listed and USB powered. Ultra soft and flexible and ultra portable. On-body red light therapy I use daily, and I take it everywhere I travel. This is the Thera O3 ozone module from Therasage. It's a portable ozone and negative ion therapy in one. It boosts oxygen, clears and sanitizes the air, and even helps your mood. It's a total game changer at home or on the go. This little device is the Thera O3 ozone module by Therasage, and it's one of my favorite wellness tools. In the sauna, it boosts ozone absorption through your skin up to 10 times, oxygenating your blood and supporting deep detox. Outside the sauna, it purifies the air, killing germs, bacteria, viruses, and mold, and it improves mood and sleep with negative ion therapy. It's compact, rechargeable, and perfect for travel, planes, offices, hotel rooms, you name it. It's like carrying clean energy wherever you go. This is a Thera H2 Go from Therasage, the only bottle with molecular hydrogen structured water and red light in one. It hydrates, energizes, and detoxes water upgraded. The Thera H2 Go from Therasage isn't just a water bottle, it's next level hydration. It infuses your water with molecular hydrogen, one of the most powerful antioxidants out there. That means less oxidative stress, more energy, and faster recovery. But here's what makes it stand out. It's the only bottle that also structures your water and adds red light to supercharge it. It's sleek, portable, and honestly, I don't go anywhere without it.
But
Here you are saying it's cool for
I think it's cool if it's like an alternative to like, let's just not get married. Because at the same time, like if you decide not to get married and one of you gets sick, the hospital literally will not allow you into the room unless you are a spouse or family. And it's like, you know, or if you die, you know, like, and now your girlfriend is left to take care of your kids, but she doesn't get any access to life insurance, or she's not, you know, necessarily written into your will. Like, what's she supposed to do now?
Interesting.
And she can't get a job in this traditional, you know, society that they want to exist. So she's kind of just left out there until she finds another guy to provide for her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When did you start getting into politics? Was it recently?
No, I grew up in a very political household. My dad is works a lot in politics generally. He's not a politician, but he just focuses a lot on issues specifically relating to Black people. And so just like, yeah, from a very young age, I kind of just like grew up in a household that was very political. And then, I don't know, I was in a lot of predominantly white institutions as a kid.
Yeah.
And I felt like there were a lot of times in which I had to like kind of explain things about Black culture and about sensitivity and like teaching people not to touch my hair without asking, you know, things like that.
People did that to me if it makes you feel better.
It's really annoying. That's not a petting zoo. Like, don't touch me or ask. I'm usually pretty chill. If someone was like, oh, it's so fluffy, I want to touch it. Like,
luckily,
okay.
I'm tall, so it didn't happen as much to me.
See, I'm so short.
Yeah, so people just reach down.
Yeah, very easy.
For me, it's harder because you gotta reach up.
See, I'm just like, wash your hands first. Like, I don't know what you've been touching. You know, you could have just been scratching your ass, and now you're like touching my hair. Like,
yeah, it's not the cleanliest thing to do.
It's not the cleanliest thing to do. No, yeah. So I got into politics through just kind of being in environments where I felt like I had to defend myself and defend others of my race and kind of combat misinformation, you know, sometimes in a very pleasant and constructive way, sometimes not, sometimes a little bit more combatively. And yeah, that's just how I got involved in stuff. And then, yeah, as I got older, I started the Black Student Union at my high school, and I did some advocacy with the ACLU. Yeah. And so I've just kind of always been involved.
Yeah, you definitely stand your ground. That's what I respect. And every time I see you debate, you have that presence. It's impressive. Doesn't matter who you're debating, too. It could be Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
You hold your beliefs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a big thing for me, especially like with how many echo chambers there are today. I think it's important that if you really believe what you're saying, you should be willing to have that belief challenged and to defend it, you know?
Ever thought about how much EMF and radiation your body is exposed to every single day? From smartphones to Wi-Fi, modern technology never stops emitting invisible stressors that could disrupt brain function, hormone balance, and cellular health. That's where Aire comes in, the only scientifically validated solution designed to help your body adapt to today's technology. It's trusted by elite athletes, used by the UFC, WWE, Canada Basketball, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's backed by science, 100+ scientists, and 40+ institutions confirm its effectiveness. It's patented, peer-reviewed, clinically proven, and publicly traded Wi-Fi is the most tested, researched, and validated EMF solution on the market. Upgrade your biology to keep up with modern technology. Protect yourself with Aire today. Click the link below to learn more.
That's great, except that was Aire's tech. Cool.
Did Charlie Kirk change any of your beliefs?
No. No.
You've debated him twice now, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I debated him. I debated him once on Jubilee, and then he came to my school, and I debated him there.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he was honestly kind of rude on Jubilee. And it's funny because I did not know who he was when I was debating him for the first time. And literally just being in the room with him, like before I even knew the rest of his lore, I was just like, oh, I don't like this person and the things they're saying. Yeah, no, he was rude. And part of it is that he chooses to debate people so much younger than him. And that's kind of always been his niche. And, you know, although I appreciate engaging younger people in politics, I think that if you, as a 30-something-year-old man, are going to choose to debate 18 and 19-year-olds, you should try and model a certain level of respect within those debates. And I don't think he was very respectful to a lot of the contestants, especially when the cameras were off.
Really?
Oh, yeah. At one point, like, we weren't rolling, and Marin, who also debated him, who went viral in the same debate, had said something, and he turned to her and was like, I'm sorry, you don't have enough testosterone to speak to me.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
no.
actually wild.
Rude. Like, it was just rude. And so that's really why I didn't have respect for him. It wasn't even necessarily that I disagree with him, although I do. But it's also like the way that you're saying these things to people who are so much younger than you is kind of just disrespectful.
Yeah. Well, that video put a lot of guys on the map, right? That was Dean's breakout video. I think it was yours as well, right? It was
mine. Dean had been pretty big before that, but it definitely, you know,
leveled him up.
Parker, Same with Parker, yeah. Marin also went viral in that video. And also shout outs to my boy Mason, because he's been in like 5 of these videos and is incredibly active in the LA community. And he gave Charlie a run for his money for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was great. I don't know why that one didn't get clipped as much because he was fantastic.
Which topic was that one about?
Oh, God. It's been like no, it hasn't been a year. It's been like 6 months now.
That's a lot in the political world.
Yeah, no, I know. He did, I think he did like the one about women, something about women.
Feminism.
Yeah, it was feminism. No, he might have done gay rights or something. I forget. Honestly, I don't even remember all the topics from that video.
I know your second debate at your campus was DEI related, right?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that one up with him because we did the 10-minute at the end of the Surrounded, and I kind of wanted to circle back now that Trump was in office and he hadn't done so much slashing of DEI programs. I definitely wanted to talk to Charlie about that.
Yeah. What did you think about him slashing all those programs?
I think it's stupid. I mean, the issue that I don't think a lot of people understand with DEI is that it's been kind of misbranded as like the Black people thing.
Yeah.
Like the handouts for Black people.
Yeah.
Which
they made it a race thing for sure.
They made it a race thing, which DEI, the group that benefits the most from DEI is white women.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Well, because it's part of what DEI does is it ensures pay equality. So DEI is very instrumental in trying to close the gender pay gap. So in terms of, and then also on the back of the Me Too movement, a lot of DEI was focused on combating sexual harassment in the workplace and making an inclusive environment for people of all genders. So DEI is generally regarded to benefit white women the most, but other than just white women and Black people, DEI also benefits people with disabilities, making sure that working accommodations are appropriate, making sure that people are given health care plans that provide for their disabilities if they're hired. DEI benefits veterans in a huge way. DEI helps veterans get like the whole.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News. In today's fast-paced media world, it's never been more important to understand how the same story can be told in very different ways. That's where Ground News comes in. Ground News shows you how the news is being covered across the political spectrum by gathering articles from around the world into one place. Let's look into today's headlines. On April 11, 2025, the stock market took a hit after the Trump administration announced new tariffs. Different outlets told very different stories. The Wall Street Journal said the economy is at risk thanks to tariffs. CNN said Trump has 90 days to do 150 trade deals. Financial markets aren't buying it. Fox News said Trump's tariffs will lead world to prosperity, economist says. Same facts, different frames. With Ground News, you see all those angles side by side. Their bias bar breaks it down visually, left, center, and right coverage so you can spot bias and form your own opinion. No echo chambers, no manipulation, just the full story. Take control of your news. Head to groundnews.com/digital by clicking the link in the bio to get 40% off your Vantage plan subscription today, or by scanning the QR code on your screen and see what you are missing.
Whole thing on applications that says like, have you served in the military?
Yeah.
That's DEI.
Really?
Yeah. Like all of that falls under the category of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then DEI also helps with families who are trying to start IVF treatment, helping those families make sure that IVF treatment is covered under their insurance at work. DEI also provides like mental health resources for workers. DEI is great. Like it does a lot of really cool things, and it's been branded just as like we're giving handouts to Black people.
Yeah.
When in reality, that's not what DEI is about. DEI is about making sure that everyone feels included and is treated equally at work, and that benefits everyone.
That's interesting. My fiance loves Target, but they rolled back a bunch of their DEI programs, so
Yeah, I
she
have
stopped
not.
shopping there for a month.
I have not been shopping at Target.
Really?
Yeah. So the Target like ban is supposed to end. It's supposed to be like a thing you do for Lent, almost like you're giving up Target as part of the protest. So it's supposed to end on Easter. I kind of want to keep going with it, but to be honest with you, I live in low-key a bit of a food desert.
Yeah.
The area around USC doesn't have a ton of options. It's really just like Target and Ralph's and Trader Joe's are like our big three. So it's like, I don't want to go back to Target, but
it's hard to beat Target. I mean,
it's just so freaking convenient, you
Yeah.
know? But I'm going to try and hold out for as long as I can.
wow, I didn't know you were still holding out because she lasted like a month or two, but then we were like, yo,
It's been like 2 months
it's
now.
Target.
Yeah, it's been like 2 months now. And it sucks because a really convenient alternative is Amazon, but I don't like them either.
Yeah. Did you see Gavin just started that lawsuit yesterday against the tariff stuff?
No.
Really?
Really? What did he do?
Yeah, we'll have to pull this up. He's going after the Trump administration for tariff, and I think the state of Cali. So California sues to stop Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs. So Cali's the first state to stand up against these tariffs. What do you think about that?
Good for Gavin. He was kind of pissing me off when he let Charlie Kirk interview him instead of dealing with the wildfires. I was a little bit annoyed by that one. So good for Gavin. I'm glad he's standing up for California and for the country. My boyfriend is actually in aerospace engineering, and he's been looking for a job for the summer because they're both in school. And there's been this huge hiring freeze in the engineering world, just because a lot of the goods that are used in engineering are imported from China.
Wow.
So, you know, that idea that like manufacturing is just immediately going to pop into the US is a myth. It takes longer than that to create American manufacturing, and it creates more than just tariffs to help American manufacturing. And I think that's a big problem that I generally have with the Republican Party, is that their solutions to things are kind of, I describe it as like a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Like, instead of seeing what the core of the issue is and creating legislation that mitigates the core issue, they just see the larger result, and then we'll just try and attack that.
Right.
Instead of actually getting to the root of the problem and solving that. I mean, we're seeing that with abortion. Like, since Roe v. Wade was overturned, and states implemented these sweeping bans on abortions, in 2023, we actually saw the number of abortions increase.
Really?
Yeah, they went up from like 900,000 to like over 1 million.
Damn.
And part of that is because the women who need abortions, just banning it doesn't solve the need. You know, you have to get to the core of the issue. Why do women need abortions? Primarily for financial reasons. That's the biggest factor in why women seek abortive care. And beyond that, medical issues, ectopic pregnancies, you know. But if you just say, I'm banning abortion, that doesn't get rid of the need that people have for these abortions. So now people are just going to other states. People are using the telehealth to ship themselves abortive care.
Wow.
Yeah,
You could do that?
you can do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which I'm sure Trump is going to attack, but we'll see.
Is it banned in Cali?
No, abortion is super legal here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have some of the chillest abortion rights, abortion laws. Yeah, no, Cali's pretty great actually on that issue, and Cali has been helping with a lot of women get reproductive care. But the other thing that you're seeing is when abortion is banned without addressing the needs for why women are seeking abortions in the first place, women who do need abortions and still don't feel like they can have these children, who are in states with bans, are going to go to other states to get those abortions, and then the abortion will be even later.
Damn.
In the pregnancy.
Yeah, because they gotta wait, right?
Exactly, because you have to wait, you have to travel. That is a huge cost, you know, the cost of travel plus the cost of the abortion, you know. So you might have to save for that. That could be an issue for a lot of people. And so it's like, you haven't gotten to the core of the issue by placing a ban on goods from China, by placing a ban on abortions. You're not mitigating the root cause of the issue.
Right.
And I think that one thing that the right and the left have a hard time agreeing on is that we all agree these things are issues, you know, like liberals and leftists don't want women to just run around and use abortions as a form of health care. We all acknowledge that it's a very sad thing, and we would hope to mitigate the number of abortions in this country.
Right.
But we just disagree on the ways to do that. I don't think the way to do that is to just place just a giant ban on the whole thing or to leave it up to the states. I think the way to do that is to look at the root causes of the issue and see how we can change those and make it easier for women to keep their babies.
Yeah.
And then encourage people to keep their babies instead of just, you know.
That makes sense. So the root cause for that one would be mainly financial issues, you said, is the number one reason?
A lot of it is financial issues. And I think that if we had things like universal health care, because the cost of having a baby, just like going to the hospital and having a baby, is in the tens of thousands of dollars.
That's crazy.
It's so expensive. If you don't have health insurance, that's a huge cost right out the gate. The cost of childcare, I think yearly is like over $20,000 a child.
Damn.
And, you know, if you have things like universal childcare, like especially for little kids, like universal preschools, you know, things like that. If we invested in our public education system so that parents trusted public education, I think that a lot of people would be, because I do think biologically, women want to protect their children, their future offspring. And I think that when women seek abortive care, it is a last resort, you know? It's not something that anyone wants to do. So I think that if there were things in place that helped women financially sustain childcare and having a child, then you would just see a lot less abortions.
Yeah, because right now women are waiting the longest they've ever to have kids on average, I believe.
It's scary. The economy is really, really scary. I know a lot of kids my age are really, really nervous about launching. And it's a huge fear for so many people. And it's, you know, it just doesn't feel like a good time to have kids, really.
Yeah.
It feels like the world is in a lot of upheaval. There's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that seems like it's kind of just up in the air. There feels like a lot of divisiveness in politics right now. It doesn't feel like this country is at all united on really any issue. It's just scary to have kids.
Potential recession, they're saying right now.
Yeah.
The stock's taking a hit.
Oh my God. Like
crypto too.
Plummeting.
Yeah.
Everything is plummeting. And Trump recently said like now is a great time to buy, which I'm pretty sure is insider trading.
Yeah, it is scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no. The idea of having kids right now, I think, is terrifying to a lot of people. And I think the only way that you're going to make that easier is not to just ban abortion, but to address the issues that are making people scared to have children and believe that they cannot support a family.
Yeah. I wonder how this tariff stuff is going to play out long term, because right now it's looking not good, but we'll see if it gets better.
I don't think it's going to be that great. I
You don't
mean,
think so?
part of me is like, will I finally be able to afford a home?
Will the interest rates finally drop from 8 to 2?
You know? But the other part of me is like, I think a lot of people are going to suffer because of the tariffs. I think a lot of working class people are going to take a huge hit. And I don't think a lot of people remember that when you place tariffs on goods and services, consumers end up paying for that in taxes and inflation. Like, we end up footing the bill of Trump's tariffs because the cost of goods will go up because we still have to import the goods from places like China. But now somebody's going to have to pay the cost differential, and that's going to be the American consumer. And I don't think that a lot of people are really thinking about that.
Man, eggs are already $10. Come on, guys.
It's a good thing I hate eggs, honestly.
You hate eggs?
I do not. When I was like, I want to say 12, me and my mom were baking a cake, and I kept eating raw cake batter, and she kept being like, stop doing that. And I wasn't listening to her. So I gave myself really, really bad food poisoning. And every time I yacked, it tasted like eggs.
Oh,
and
probably
now
got salmonella or something.
I like had baby salmonella. Yeah, I didn't have to go to the hospital, but I was sick for like a few days. And now every time I like smell eggs,
Damn,
it, like,
chicken too, or just eggs?
No, not chicken. Like not like cooked chicken, but yeah, just eggs.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my bad. Ruined eggs for myself.
So the right constantly attacks public education. You're a senior in college right now. How do you feel about your education process? Did you go to public school?
I went to public school for high school, but I went to private college. I'm at USC. And, to be honest, there are some things about the right's arguments against college that I do see some validity to, in that I think it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
My school, I also think that, like, I'll do my school, for example. I'm at the School of Cinematic Arts at USC, and we recently had this issue where I think our tuition is the highest in the country.
Damn.
Really high, crazy high. But they're not paying teachers enough. And there was this issue in which the teachers' contracts were not being negotiated with the faculty, and they were making a lot of professors adjunct professors, so they wouldn't have to provide them things like healthcare. And they would like force like caps on how many classes a teacher could teach, so they could only teach like one class. And if you're paying like $2,000 a class, that's like nothing, Yeah. So the teachers, the adjunct faculty have been organizing, and they're trying to start a union. And it's really incredible to me that a school that is charging so much to its students can treat its faculty so poorly. So I really don't agree with that, and with what my school and with what Carol Folt has done at USC.
Yeah.
And I also do think that college is a huge barrier for economic mobility, and it serves as a way. It can be very elitist, I think, in a lot of ways, especially being at USC. It can be very, very elitist.
I could see that. And I agree with that. If you're paying $50K a year, a percentage of that should go to teachers.
A huge percentage of that should go to teachers. I mean, what else is it going to go to?
Yeah, because you want the highest quality teacher.
Exactly.
You don't want the bottom of the barrel teaching you.
And this is the best film school in the country. Like, if this is how the best film school in the country, one of the wealthiest schools in the country, is treating its faculty.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm surprised there's no regulation on like salary caps for.
There is, I think, so the school went around it by making all the professors adjunct.
So a loophole.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. And so I do agree that college should not be as capitalistic as it is. I don't think that college should be as business oriented as it is.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily love the way that private institutions gatekeep quality education, if that makes sense. But I don't think that the solution to that is, well, college is bad, because I think college is really good. And I think that more people should have the opportunity to go to college, and it should just be more accessible.
Yeah. When you see Charlie say it's a scam.
Charlie didn't go to college. Charlie dropped out of community college. You know, the college that he dropped out of had a 100% acceptance rate?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't understand. That's one thing that I think is hilarious to me, is when Charlie says college is a scam, when his career is built off of debating college kids. If college was a scam and did not exist, Charlie Kirk would not have a platform.
That's crazy to think about, but you're right.
And he didn't even go to college.
Yeah. He went viral he built a business off those debates, those
Yes.
college debates.
Of debating college kids. He wandered around universities that he couldn't get into or complete to tell the students there that they were being scammed while profiting off of disincentivizing college students. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do.
Do you feel like degrees have as much value as they used to, though, with our parents' generation?
Yeah. I don't know in comparison to our parents' generation. I think our parents' generation economically was a much different place.
Right.
I'm really jealous of my parents in a lot of ways.
They could afford houses. They could work at one job only and be
The
chilling.
neighborhood that my parents used to live in, like sometimes we'll like go back to the places they went to school because my parents went to school and my dad went to Stanford and my mom went to Berkeley. So
Wow.
Northern California. Yeah. So like we'll do like little walkarounds like of their old like stomping grounds and stuff. And my dad will be like, I lived in this apartment and my rent was 2 cents a month. And I'm like, God damn.
I wish.
And it's like a lakeside, like I'm like, what?
I just struggled to get a house, and I'm like pretty well off. You know, I've worked my ass off, but it was a process.
It's a huge process.
And the payments are a lot with 8% interest. It's crazy.
And part of it is it's like, you know, you can't afford a loan or a mortgage, but you can rent at the same rate.
Yeah.
So, because there's the difference between home ownership and renting. Like to have the equity of home ownership is such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And just the barriers of entry into that are ridiculous when you'd be paying rent for around the same amount.
If I was in college debt, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Exactly. And college debt is ridiculous. I think college is just way too expensive,
Yeah.
I think is my bottom line.
What do you think they should do with the debt? Because Charlie said keep it, but do you think there should be a program?
That's so stupid. If college is a scam, then why not forgive student loans? I mean, yeah, that's dumb. No, I think that there should be a program. I don't know if it should look like Biden's program because that didn't get approved.
Yeah, I thought that went through and then something happened.
So yeah, something happened.
My
but
fiance was like, oh, my loan got forgiven. And then the next week, I don't know.
yeah, that was an absolute shame. But I do think that should be a program. And, you know, people say like, it'll never work. But like European countries have free public college. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there needs to be some change. Right now, I mean, I went to Rutgers in Jersey. I don't know what the tuition there is anymore, but I know it goes up a lot.
Love Rutgers.
You love Rutgers?
I'm from Jersey. I'm from Montclair.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm from Bridgewater.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Jersey.
Hey, Jersey.
Yes, sir. Who do you want to debate next?
Who do I want to debate next? I wanted to debate Emily. I thought she was coming, but that's fine.
Emily Saves America?
Yeah.
What do you think about her?
I think she's hilarious. I think it's so funny. She reminds me of no, that's gonna sound too mean.
I thought you were gonna say Fuentes.
No, she's not as bad as Fuentes. I mean, Fuentes is the Nazi. Like,
You denied debating him, right?
yeah, he was the one I wouldn't debate.
So you got a line at him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I draw a hard line in just like the idea of having to debate like human rights. I think that there are some things that are just objectively true, and I can't have a conversation with someone who just does not believe in my personhood. You know, I'm not going to convince somebody that I'm a person.
Yeah.
That you're just going to have to figure that out on your own.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
I don't think anyone's changing Fuentes' mind on any of his beliefs.
I don't think
anytime
that there's any changing his mind. And I also like don't want to platform him. Like, I don't have any respect for his rhetoric.
soon. Yeah.
I mean, didn't he just mace a woman?
Yeah. Someone went to his house, right?
Yeah, and he just like opened the door and maced her.
To be
That's
fair,
not
I
funny.
mean,
That's not fucking funny. It's horrible.
Yeah. If someone showed up to my house, that's messed up, though, to be honest.
If someone showed up to my house, it is messed up. I feel like I would just call the cops, though.
Yeah.
Let them mace her. Because then it's like the cops maced a trespasser and not I opened my door and maced a woman.
Yeah.
You know? She
Yeah.
could have been selling Girl Scout cookies. We
That's
don't
true.
know.
Have you had any weird stalker incidents yet? Because you've been blowing up lately.
I haven't had anyone like try to find me where I live. Please don't do that. My boyfriend's a vet. He would kill you. But I have had some weird people in my DMs for sure. I've had somebody offered me $400 for my feet pics. I said no, and I just want to note that.
Damn, why'd
Yeah,
you
I
say
did
no to
say
that? That's easy money.
My boyfriend was like, but he's gonna be jacking off to like your body, and I was like, okay, fine.
It's just
yeah.
a foot. I mean, he could probably find it online if he looks
See,
hard
that's
enough.
what I said. I was like, if you look hard enough, you could probably find a photo of my
Yeah.
foot somewhere.
You went to the beach probably a few years ago.
Like somewhere, yeah. Although my Instagram did get deleted because of Aiden Ross, so all my stuff is new on there.
Oh, because of Aiden?
Yeah, he got really mad at me because I didn't want to debate Nick Fuentes, and I made this TikTok about it. And in the TikTok, I said, what did I say? Oh yeah, I said Aiden Ross tried to pay a girl $20,000 to talk to him, and she still said no.
Hmm.
And he did not like that.
I think I saw that video.
I thought it was funny. He was not a fan.
Wait, so that got you deleted?
No. So he made this whole, he went on this live stream and was like, she's a bitch. She's a bitch. Ah. And what did he call me? He said, I never get a man and that I'm poor because my bed frame is from IKEA, which
What's wrong with IKEA? I used to sleep on IKEA stuff.
I love IKEA. Who doesn't love IKEA?
I just hate building
steamed
it. That's the annoying part.
The
to me.
building it is,
That's
but
why I stopped.
I feel so accomplished. I'm like, yeah, feminism. I built my own bed. Yeah, from scratch.
You do feel good after.
No, it is. It's very satisfying. I'm like, damn, I built that. You see that? I built that. No, but yeah, he came after me really hard and then got his fans to like mass report me.
Mm.
And then Instagram was like, yeah, you're right. She's bad. So my account got deleted. And the reason Instagram gave me was because I was impersonating a celebrity.
Wow. Were you verified?
No, because I didn't want to pay Meta $20 a month.
Is it 20 a month now? Wow.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, so my Instagram got deleted.
You had a big following, right?
Yeah, it was annoying, but I got my followers back. So
Oh, okay. So you got the page back?
No, I just started a new one.
Oh, that's the one I messaged you on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to find you. It's like a different name.
Yeah, it's the same name, but with 2 P's.
Okay.
Instead of 1.
It was something rain soup or?
No, it's hair soup.
Hair soup.
Yeah, I made that from a random word generator when I was like 17.
And just stuck with it.
Yeah, and then I went viral as hair soup, and I was like, well, I guess I have to keep this now.
That's wild. Well, hopefully Aiden forgives you by now.
I don't care.
He does have a big platform, but
He'll be okay.
yeah. If he hits you up to debate Myron, maybe that'd be a better fit for you.
No, I'm not going on his channel.
You're not?
He can kick rocks.
Damn.
Fuck him.
All right.
He had a lot of really mean things to say about me. I have no respect for him. I'm not going to help him get views. What?
Wow.
That's crazy.
I didn't see what he said, but that's
Oh yeah, no, he called me a whore. He was talking about how my boyfriend is gay, but I also don't have a boyfriend. It was like he went on and on. He basically went on this rant, just like bashing me.
damn.
I would not help him at all.
You keep your man low key, keep him hidden, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want him to get like. There was this one kind of stalker guy who like every time I would post something, he'd just comment nigger, 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 nigger,
Damn.
like, over and over and over. He'd DM me the N word over and over and over. He found my boyfriend's account. He's DMing him nigger lover, like all this
Jeez.
crazy shit. Yeah, that'll be fun to bleep out.
I think in our space it's smart. Like Brett Cooper does it too. Like you just don't want the hate going to the
yeah,
significant
just
other.
keep him low key. I mean, politics is just really intense.
Yeah.
And he wants to be in videos, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's probably not worth it. Because then
Yeah.
he's gonna start getting hit up by weird people.
Yeah.
You get a ton of hate comments alone by
yeah.
itself.
Like, someone will ask to buy his feet pics next.
You're good at like handling it though, handling the hate.
Yeah, I just watched Django.
Django.
You know the movie, Quentin Tarantino?
Is that the shootout one or?
That's the one with the slave who
Oh,
becomes a
yeah,
bounty
yeah.
hunter
That's
of
an
white.
older one. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, no. Anytime the hate gets too much, I just watch Django.
It's all
to be honest.
perspective, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we're dealing with online hate rather than back in the day when.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer online hate to like being a slave,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think I will take. But no, it is nice. It's a nice little empowering. Yeah.
Okay, this is a controversial one. Do you believe the rich should pay more in taxes?
Yeah. I believe the rich should pay more in taxes. And I think that there's this misconception when people talk about taxing the rich. It's not about taxing high income families. Like, if you're a doctor or a lawyer or a white collar professional worker, that's not the group that I think should be taxed more than they already are. I think if you own a very successful business, if you're an Amazon, if you're a Jeff Bezos, you know, if you're a Meta, if you're a Coke, if you're in the oil industry, those groups should have to pay more in taxes. And like Jeff Bezos is not going to notice. He wouldn't notice. It would have such a huge benefit to the middle and working class. And it would be such relief for so many working class people and white collar people who are footing the bill for tax dodging 1%ers, essentially, and really high income business owners. And I think that there's this fear of taxing the rich because people think, well, hey, wait a minute. Once I get to a level where I'm professional, you're going to try and take all my hard earned money. And it's like, no. If you're Elon Musk and making over, $20 million a year, you're not going to notice.
Right.
Instead of taking money from people who would notice, you're taxing people who wouldn't so that those who really do need the relief can get it.
So you're talking like ultra rich then, not like top 1%?
Well, I think that the top 1% could be taxed more, but I'm not talking about the top like 20%.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people fall into the category of the top 20% who are concerned that they're going to be the ones who are targeted by tax the rich campaigns. And it's like, no, we're talking about people who genuinely would not notice giving money to people who genuinely need it.
Yeah. I mean, here's my take. So I guess I'm top 1% because I make $500K a year. I don't know the exact number. So I paid about like whatever, $200K this year or last year.
Yeah.
I don't mind that if it's going to the right programs, but the Doge stuff scares me, to be honest. I'm not sure how accurate their investigations are, but stuff I see on Twitter is like, where's this money going to? You know what I mean?
Well, that's my fear because, I mean, Elon Musk, he hasn't slashed any of his government subsidies, but he did slash the VA suicide hotline.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, how do you figure that, Elon? How is Tesla more important than veterans having access to mental health care when we know that veterans generally have a serious mental health crisis in this country?
Yeah.
And we know that veterans are often neglected. And we know that veterans have one of the highest rates of suicide and homelessness and addiction out of any group in this country. Like, I don't understand his priorities.
I didn't know he cut that one.
He cut that. He cut a lot from the national parks. He is just slashing the weirdest shit. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. And he's not an elected official, which is even more upsetting. It's like to just come in as a private entity with your own multi-billion-dollar corporation and private goals to decide what is useful in our own government. I mean, he fired the workers whose job is to safeguard our nuclear launch codes, and then realized, oh my God, we need those people. I
saw that one.
And then had to rehire all of them. They fired a bunch of workers at the national parks, one of whom was like a locksmith. And then the park rangers were literally locked out of the national parks because they fired the only locksmith.
That's interesting.
Like, it's just stupid. I mean, it's also just like, Elon is a successful businessman, and he doesn't do this at his companies. I'd imagine he doesn't just
He did it at Twitter.
Well, he did it at Twitter, but Twitter also lost a lot of money in him doing that, and they had to completely rebuild.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't do that at Tesla. He doesn't do that at SpaceX. He doesn't just fire half his workforce and then decide who's important after he's fired them.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that that was a fucked up thing to do. And I think he did it at Twitter because he doesn't really care about Twitter. It's not his company.
Tesla's struggling right now.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. If you're going to be like a supervillain, you should be a quiet supervillain.
Yeah.
He's too public with it. Like, if I was him, I'd be an advisor and you wouldn't see me a lot.
You'd be Barron Trump.
I love that video of Barron Trump. I like my suitcase.
I haven't seen that one. I've never seen him talk.
It's him when he's like 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's got like this little suitcase. He's like, I like my suitcase.
I've never seen him talk. I want to see what his voice sounds like. I have curiosity.
I haven't seen him talk either. Apparently him and Melania are a lot closer than him and Trump. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's a pretty busy guy. I'd imagine he isn't the most hands-on parent.
They don't seem to be the most loving couple, at least in the public spotlight.
She's hilarious. I'm obsessed with Melania. She's so funny.
You like her?
I kind of do. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I feel like she's definitely gotten a lot of privilege with some weird blood money and had to turn a blind eye to a lot of pretty fucked up shit that I'm sure she's witnessed. So in that sense, I think she's kind of a sellout. But she did write in her memoir that she is pro-choice.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
Wow.
yeah, no.
Because Trump is the opposite, right?
Yeah. Although, honestly, I don't even really think Trump believes a lot of the stuff he's saying. Like, Trump used to be a Democrat.
Yeah.
I think he just wants power and is willing to lie. He lies like over 20 times a day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Is that actually a fact or really?
No, literally. In his first term as president, he lied over 20 times a day. Yeah, no, I think Trump is willing to say literally whatever, say and do whatever it takes for power and money.
I don't know how often other politicians are lie. I feel like they lie too, but I don't know if it's 20 times a day.
Nobody lies as much as Trump. It's ridiculous.
Really?
It's like sociopathic at this point.
Jeez.
It's pathological. It's fucking weird.
Who do you think you guys are going to have in 28? There's whispers of AOC and Bernie.
I don't know. God, I don't think AOC is going to win. I think that this country has proven that they are not ready to elect a woman president. And as much as that bums me out, I do think that the Democratic Party should be kind of realistic about that and put someone up who can win.
Bernie's getting up there in age too.
That's the other thing. Bernie's older than Trump and Biden.
Oof.
Yeah, Bernie's old. And Bernie's still kicking. Like, I went to the rally last week, and he's still sharp as ever, but he's just old.
Yeah.
You know? And as much as I love Bernie, I would love to see someone younger in office who we don't have to worry about, okay, who's his VP? You know?
Yeah. Maybe Gavin.
Yeah. Maybe.
You don't seem to be his biggest fan.
I don't know. I feel like the LA wildfires were handled really, really poorly. I feel like the housing crisis in California has been handled kind of poorly. He's all right.
Yeah, when you look at the money flow, the housing stuff, it's really messed up.
I'm not his biggest stan. Like, I'd vote for him if it was between him and Trump or him and Vance.
Or him and Grant Cardone for governor next election.
I'd vote I would continue to vote for him. But, he's not my first draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who they're going to put up.
It was interesting to see him launch a pod. I wonder what game he's playing. It does seem like he's going to make a run for president.
I think he's gonna run for president. I honestly don't understand how he has time to have a podcast. Go to work, Gavin. What are you doing?
Well, to be fair, the right's crushed the podcast world.
They have. I think that the right understands that it's more than just investing in politicians. It's also investing in pundits. It's also investing in political analysts. Because these are the people that are going to have a ton of outreach on voters. Social media has a huge impact on how people vote and people's beliefs.
Yep.
And I don't think that the left invests so much in uplifting people like, the liberal version of Amala, who I guess would be me, or the liberal version of Candace, or the liberal version of Ben Shapiro, or, it's like kind of Destiny. But I just feel like the left isn't as organized when it comes to appreciating and respecting the power that political influencers have over people's votes.
Yeah, you guys are all spread out because you got Destiny, you got Adam Mockler, you got David Pacman, and then Dean and Harry, but it's all spread out.
It's all spread out. It's not consolidated. There's no liberal version of PragerU, It's
Turning Point. There's no liberal version.
Exactly. There's no liberal version of any of these things. And I think part of it is the Democratic Party just doesn't have as much money because
Really?
I think it's much easier to be evil and rich. I think that most incredibly wealthy people are kind of evil. So
I mean, to get to billionaire status, you have to be doing
you
a
have
lot
to be
of
pretty
business.
fucking cutthroat.
You got to be doing a lot of business and not just the U.S., just worldwide.
You have to be incredibly cutthroat.
You most likely have to screw someone over.
Most likely have to screw thousands of people over.
Yeah.
I mean, on some level, to reach that level of wealth and success, there's someone you have to exploit.
Yeah.
To reach that level of wealth. And so I think it's a lot easier for the right to kind of finance political influencers than it is for the left. And I wish that the left paid more attention to that. Because, like, one thing that I think about a lot is it's like, you know, as I'm talking to younger people, they might not be able to vote now, but, you know, in 3 to 5 years, the people who follow me on TikTok will be voting,
Right.
you know?
You're playing the long game.
I mean, kind of. And I think that's what Charlie Kirk does, you
Right.
know, they say that Donald Trump won because of how many young conservative men there are nowadays.
Right.
That there's been such a huge increase in the amount of conservative men, especially in my generation or in our generation. And I think the right has realized that there is such an asset to political influencers because they do have political influence.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the left has capitalized on that as much. And I wish we would, mostly because I can get a job, but also because it'd be just good for the country to have both views, you know?
Yeah. So you think you'll venture into politics eventually, more into it at least?
No. I mean, I could see myself doing what I do now on a larger scale. I also do stand-up.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do stand-up. It's not something a lot of people know. And I would hopefully and I write comedy. Like, I came to USC Film School with the goal of writing comedies. And then I kind of found this way to, because there's like these kind of two sides of me that's like very artsy and artistically focused. And then there's this other side of me that is very political and politically driven. And I would like to find a way to combine the two. I would definitely like to do more political satire and more political comedy. I also think that like politics is a real bummer right now.
It is depressing.
It's depressing.
Anytime I go on Twitter and scroll for a bit, my mood is just shot.
It's depressing.
It's
Like
just
reading the
negativity.
news, it's really negative. It's scary and negative, I think, for everyone, regardless of political affiliation. And I don't know. I hope that I can help people laugh at it a little bit more. That's definitely a long-term goal for me.
That'd be cool.
I don't think I want to be a politician, though. Politics is fucking messy.
It's messy and stressful.
I watched too much Veep. That show made me know.
The before and after photos of every president. Have you seen that?
Oh my God.
The gray hair. The
Oh my
gray hair.
God.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like Obama aged a lot.
He did. I know. I was like, dang. I saw a photo from the other day. I was like, what?
Fully gray, I think, when he got out.
I know. And I think Obama was a pretty good president.
You think so?
I think Obama was pretty sick. I also think we as a country were so hopeful. I think it was a much more positive political climate that Obama created. Like the fact that so many people are like looking at his movie recs and his Spotify playlists and like that's fun. I think that part of this is going to sound really stupid, but I think that part of being a president is kind of setting a vibe. And I think that Trump's vibe is kind of just screaming at people, and it is politically poisoned how we view politics and how we engage with politics.
Yeah.
It's very negative. It's very critical. It's very combative. And it's not fun.
Well, he was a shock to the system because he wasn't a politician.
Yeah.
He kind of just came in. It felt like in 16, it was like a reality show, the way he worked
It
up.
still feels like a reality show. And it's not even a good one. It's like Bad Girls Club with a bunch of like 80-year-old white guys.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Is there any executive orders or decisions he's made so far that you agree with?
He hasn't made this one, but I do hope he gets rid of daylight savings time.
Ooh,
I thought that was not a bad idea.
I did not expect that answer.
Yeah. I hate daylight savings time. It's so annoying. Like, why?
It's confusing.
It is confusing and unnecessary.
Yeah. It never made sense to me. In school, it was annoying too.
It had something to do with farmers.
Huh.
That's why they started it. Something about harvests and like the winter and spring and like the different times of harvests. But like not enough people are farmers for us to still need to do that. I feel like.
Damn, he signed a lot of orders, so nothing else?
Nah. Not really.
Wow.
I'm trying to think, like, which ones were the most left? I can't even think of anything.
Most left. Yeah, I don't know about left. He got rid of Department of Education.
Yeah, that was stupid. What? Why?
You
Why?
weren't a fan of that one?
No. This is the Department of Education. I don't understand how you can be America first, but like not education.
Yeah. What about the trans sports stuff?
No. I don't know. I get kind of confused on not confused, but I do feel empathy for women in sports who feel like they are competing against people who have a genetic advantage to them. And I think that we should heavily consider that in how we legislate sports. But at the same time, I do think that banning people from sports on the basis of sexuality or identity is discrimination. And again, it goes back to the conservative idea of a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Like, well, I'm just going to ban it instead of getting to the root of the problem and seeing how we can mitigate the root of the problem. Because doing that takes a lot more critical thought and empathy and time.
I could see that.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. It's just kind of annoying to me. It's like, well.
That's an overplayed one, too. They always bring that one up.
They always bring that one up. And it's also like, I think that a lot of the divide on transgender issues is a way to distract voters from more important issues. Because to be real, I think aren't trans people 0.01% of the overall
It's
American
not a lot,
population?
yeah.
Or is less than that? It's so few people, and it's become such a huge and polarizing issue. And I think that the Republican Party kind of brings that up a lot. And I do think that this just goes in general for identity politics. I think that Republicans use identity politics and an attack on people's identities to distract from the real issue, which is a class issue. I don't think that it's about black versus white. I don't think it's about trans versus cis. I don't think it's about men versus women. And I think that all of these groups honestly have a lot of common interests. I think that it is about what's essentially becoming an oligarchy in this country. I think that just free range capitalism is destroying the middle class. And if the middle class is too busy arguing over who gets to compete in sports, then they won't realize that the real issues that are facing them on a daily basis could be solved by looking at the uber wealthy and holding them accountable.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, that's historically, I think that's what almost all issues in identity politics have been about, is distracting people from
a lot
the
of
true
distracting
enemy.
in politics.
I think it's distracting, and I think it's purposefully dividing people so that they can't unite and demand equal rights.
Yeah.
And if you've read the book, The Sum of Us, it's kind of about how the white working and middle class has been disadvantaged by racism, and legislation that was aimed at hurting Black people does actually hurt everyone. And then if you look just historically, like Bacon's Rebellion in the South during slavery, indentured white servants and Black slaves banded together and rebelled against the Virginia elite. And as soon as that happens, you have all these new laws banning indentured servants and Black people from being together and from organizing together. You have all these laws specifically aimed at Black people, specifically aimed at indentured servants, talking to Black people. And they used racism essentially as a tool to divide groups that have a common investment and interest and goal so that they don't kind of band together and fight for each other and with each other.
Wow. So this has been going on for a while then.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like racism was used to justify slavery on many levels because slavery at its core was an economic benefit to the elite. Slavery economically benefited people of all levels who weren't slaves just because of what a huge market it was. But at its core, it benefited an elite, a super elite, like monarchies. But they used the fact that Black people were quote unquote savages, and they used the fact that Black people are beasts and that they prefer slavery and that it's better for them because they were so gross before to justify exploiting African labor. So I think it's, at the end of the day, it's always about money. And identity politics is used as a tool to distract people from the fact that they're actively being exploited.
Yep. Follow the money though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never lies.
It doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad to watch this country kind of fall for it every time.
I mean, when you got Pierce Morgan just putting on these fiascos every day, it's like people love that drama.
People love it. It's drama. It's passion. You know, it's much more fun to argue and hear people argue about whether or not, you know, trans people should be in sports than like the economy.
Yeah.
You know?
Gets way more views. Yeah.
It gets way more views. And I think that's part of it too. It all kind of folds into this machine, this capitalistic machine.
Yeah. Last topic, the deportations. How do you feel about all these?
Again, Band-Aid on a bullet hole. It's the same thing with pretty much every major issue that the Republican Party is trying to address. You can't just deport 15 million people, half your labor, or not half your labor force, but like 5% of your labor force just at once. It's stupid. It's weird. ICE is like hunting people. Trump wanted to send people to Guantanamo Bay. Like, what? That's just dumb. So again, it's like you see this problem, and instead of addressing the root of the issue, why are people coming here illegally? How can we? I mean, one thing that people don't know is that illegal immigrants pay taxes. Like, they do pay taxes. They do actually benefit the economy in many ways. And so instead of just like, let's just deport everybody, what would happen if we deport everyone? Who's taking those jobs now? Because they were filling part of our labor force, you know? They did make up part of our labor force. Who's going to take those jobs now? What is it going to look like to have them leave the country and have that vacancy in those jobs? How do we maybe make it easier for people to come into this country legally so that they can contribute effectively to our economy? And I think on a larger issue, like kind of to look at it more broadly, I've noticed that this country, I mean, we literally, the Statue of Liberty, bring me your poor, your huddled masses, blah, 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 blah. But then every time we get people's poor and huddled masses, we're like, no, go back. We did it with Irish immigrants. We did it with Italian immigrants. We did it with German immigrants. We did it with immigrants. We did it with West African immigrants. We do every single time a new immigrant group comes to this country, we lose our minds. They settle in, a few generations go by, and now they are a part of American identity. And I just wish that we wouldn't keep repeating that pattern over and over and over again. We've already done this. Why not approach it differently and see, instead of just immediately attacking these people, how can we make it so that they can contribute equally to our economy and become a part of our economy? How can we use them as an asset?
Right.
And I do think that on a certain level, like Donald Trump used to hire illegal immigrants.
Really?
Yeah.
To build the buildings, skyscrapers?
Yeah, to do all his stuff, Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff. But part of that, the reason why illegal immigrant labor is so valuable is because they're so easily exploitable. If you're constantly at risk of being deported, like, you can be exploited and you can't tell anyone. You don't get
That's true.
union protection. You don't get labor law protection. You can't sue anyone. Like, you can't do anything. You know, you're essentially stuck. And we've seen this throughout U.S. history with how we treat Mexican immigrants. And they come in, you know, I don't want to say it, but it's like Operation like Wetback. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, well, it was basically this program in which California needed immigrant labor, and they would have people come in on these like work visas. But of course, the standard for getting a visa was like, you have to be a man, you have to be able to work, you have to be able to work this many hours, you have to be this, like, it was very high. So people would come to the country on these visas, but they would bring their families because it's hard to be separated from your family, you know? And then they would allow their families to work too, but because they're not on the visas, they'd just be like, you're gonna have to work and we're not gonna stop, like, you're not gonna stop working. And if you tell anyone, we'll deport you.
Damn.
If you stop, we'll deport you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and so there is this capitalist benefit to having illegal immigrants as a part of our labor force. And I don't know, it just makes me sad that instead of kind of empathizing with these people, with these immigrants, as we all once were, we just kind of shit on them.
Yeah.
And have essentially just allowed this country to hunt them, to put them in cages. That's disgusting. Like, there's no better solution than putting people in cages, separating children, keeping children in cages. And I know that Biden and Obama did that too.
Obama did a lot.
He did a lot. And I do not agree with that or respect that. And I wish that this country would approach the issue of immigration from a more empathetic outlook. And instead of, how can we get these people out? How can we create a symbiotic relationship with these communities? How can we incorporate these communities into American culture so that we can all benefit from them being here, because I do think they're a huge benefit to our country.
I can see that. They need to make the legal route easier because, like, I'm getting married this year, and a lot of my girls' families in Bolivia and other countries, they can't even come to the wedding.
It's really
Isn't
hard.
that crazy?
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's nuts. They have like 9-to-5 jobs in their countries, like for 20, 30 years, and they're outstanding citizens.
It's really hard. And I really, really hated the way that Trump, say what you want about deportation. I really hated the way that Trump characterized, illegal immigrants. They're going to rape your women, all this crazy shit. It's like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, a small percentage of them are doing those things, but not all of them.
Also, Americans do that too.
That's true.
I mean, last I checked, it's not like a non-issue in this country.
Yeah, crime stats are not a good. I don't know.
They're not great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we can really call anyone else out for being criminal.
Yeah, not great out here too.
No,
in LA. I'm sure you don't feel safe walking around at night.
Yeah, I mean, my neighborhood is like getting a lot better, mostly because USC has gentrified the hell out of my neighborhood. But yeah, it can be weird. I've had some friends who have been chased by homeless people and stuff like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, not to say that all homeless people are going to attack you, but
yeah, welcome to USC. Paying $50K a year for.
It's more.
It's more than 50?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
How much more are we talking?
I think it's 70.
Holy.
Oh yeah.
You have a scholarship though, right?
No.
Wow. So you're gonna be $280K in debt? Oh, your dad?
No.
What, you've been paying it yourself?
My mom.
Oh, your mom's the baller. Okay. Shout out to
like,
mom.
Why is she a feminist?
Oh, okay. A little girl boss.
Yes.
Let's go. Shout out to the mom.
Straight up girl boss. My mom is a bad bitch.
I see where you get it from now.
No, my mom is fucking iconic.
That's dope.
I love my mom. I love my dad too. My dad taught me a lot about politics, but my mom really modeled and exemplified how to do everything. And it's so funny to me when Republicans like Candace Owens are like, go make him a sandwich. And it's like, I don't know. My mom had a full-time job my entire upbringing and still managed to be a really kick-ass mom.
I love that.
You can do it.
You could do
It's
both.
not impossible. And the idea that women are going to be bad mothers if they have jobs, or that they can't be moms and have jobs, is a myth. That's just not true.
Bars. Well, Naima, where can people find you and see what you're doing next?
Oh, yeah. My Instagram is hair.soup with 2 P's at the end. And my TikTok is just hair.soup with 1 P at the end.
Awesome. Check her out, guys. Potential debate in the future with, you'll see. Stay tuned. Peace.
Bye.